Hello and welcome back to my channel. It is a new year, and with it being a new year, that means that it's time to make my favorite video of the year, which is the books I read in 2018 or 2017, or depending on what last year was, is the video where I talk about my favorite books that I read last year and recommend them to you guys to read this year maybe, if you want. You don't have to. But if you're bored and you need something to read, I got some really good books for you that you might enjoy. So I am gonna go ahead and say this. I'm terrible at describing books. I will probably say it's a very good book very often. I only have 6 because I have a tendency to ramble when talking about books. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into this so we can go ahead and get started. So I'm gonna start with my favorite books and work the way down. I love all 6 of these books very, very much. They were the 6 that definitely stood out to me the most last year, but I'm going to go in order of favorite to less favorite. These are all my favorites, but I'm going from, you know what I mean. Alright, so first we are going to start with Proxy by Alex London. Now, if you watched my Y'all Fest vlogs from a couple months ago, you know that I got to meet Alex London. He's a super sweet guy. I love him, love to meet him again. Genuinely the best experience I've ever had meeting an author. Best time ever speaking to an author. Just an overall, just amazing guy. And he wrote this book called Proxy. This book takes place in the future where rich people can buy other people and make them pay for their crimes. So, example in this book, the main character, well, one of the main characters, his name is Sid, and he's a proxy for this guy called Knox. Knox's father is rich, so he bought Sid as Knox's proxy. So whenever Knox does something bad, Sid is the one that gets punished, and Knox has to watch him be punished. So that is the setting for this book. Sid is a proxy, and he has to take everyone else's punishments, pretty much. Or at least Knox's. In this book, Knox messes up so badly that Sid is then sentenced to death. They accidentally bump into each other, and you can imagine what happens next. It is really good, though. I feel like everyone should read this book. It's a very good book. Almost everyone who reads the book says that they should read it. I read this book because someone at Y'all Fest the other year, not last year, but the year before, mentioned this book in the Ask Me Anything panel in books they wish they had growing up, and someone mentioned this book, and a lot of people agreed, so I decided to pick it up and read it, and yeah, you should read it. I love this. This has actually become one of my favorite books, and there's a sequel to this one called Guardian, which is also really good. Guardian doesn't necessarily go on with the story. This is self-contained. You could read this without anything else, but Guardian is more of a secondary book that you could read if you want to stay in the same universe or see what else happens to Sid in his life. Next is a book that I found by accident that is incredibly heartbreaking, which is A List of Cages by Robin Rowe. This book, I found this at Walmart one day. My friend and I, we were at Walmart, and I looked and I saw this book and I was like, oh, that's a pretty cover, so I decided to read the back. I managed to pick up the most heartbreaking book in the entire store. This book covers a lot of topics of abuse. It follows the story of this kid named Julian and how he is being very badly abused by his uncle. It's a very beautiful book, very good book, but very heartbreaking. The author of this book, Robin Rowe, she was a counselor. She said that she wrote from experience. Julian's fictional, but a lot of the experiences are real. And Robin Rowe, actually, she never really wrote anything else. I think she might be in the process of writing another book, but so far this is all she's written, and it's really good, and you should read it. It is it just takes your heart and mushes it into pieces and just breaks it, but it's really, really good. You should read this. Unless topics of abuse upset you, then maybe not, but it's definitely a book you should read if those type of things don't upset you or you went through something similar. Next, I have More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera. If you know me, I'm a huge fan of Adam Silvera. I love his books. I read 2 of his books last year. They both die at the end in this one, but this is the book that stood out to me most. I'm not gonna say too much about this book because there's like a billion spoilers in it and a lot of plot twists. This book takes place kind of in the future. I don't entirely remember if it was in the future or not, but anyways, it's in a modern day where there is this program called like the Ledio Project where you can go in and they can wipe your memory of whatever bad thing you want to forget. And this book is really sad. It is absolutely fantastic, but it is sad. I love Adam Silvera and I love his writing. I will read every single book he puts out into the universe because I love his writing so much. But this book follows a kid named Aaron, and through some struggles he has going on in his life, like dealing with his father killing himself and finding friends, losing friends, a bunch of things. But it's basically about him trying to find happiness and trying to be more happy than not. The book deals with topics of suicide, self-harm, also severe homophobia. So if you're sensitive to any of those things, maybe don't read it. So I recommend it. Next is another favorite, which is We Are the Ants by Sean David Hutchinson, which I always get his name wrong, so I had to look to make sure. This book is about a kid named Henry who frequently finds himself being abducted by aliens. And these aliens tell him that he only has a certain amount of time to decide if the Earth should live or die. So the entire planet is resting on Henry and his decision 144 days to decide if humans deserve to live or not. I really love his writing. I really had a hard time putting this book down. I just wanted to read it and read it and read it, and then after I read it, I wanted to read it again. It's really, really good. I'm gonna say that about every single book. They're all good. There are so many good books out there. Next, I have The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. This book, I got absolutely obsessed with this book after I read it. Oh my gosh, it's good. This takes place in the 1700s, and it follows around Monty, his best friend Percy, and his sister Felicity as they go on like their grand tour of Europe. There's a lot of growth in this book from the main character, specifically Monty. He starts out in the book as one person, and by the time it's over, he's completely different. It's amazing. I love books like that. I will say this though, you will spend the entirety of the book going, just communicate, because there's something going on between Monty and his best pal Percy, and if they just talk to each other, things would be fine. But this is a really good book. It's fantastic, and there's actually a sequel which is called The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy, also by Mackenzie Lee, of course. Who else would it be by? I'm so excited to read that. I haven't read it yet. I haven't read the sequel yet, but I'm very excited about it because it's supposed to follow Monty's sister Felicity. But I love this book. There's death, there's alchemy, there's all kinds of stuff in this book. It's hilarious too. You will laugh while you read it. But basically it's about him, his best friend, and his sister going off on their grand tour of Europe and finding themselves in trouble and situations they really shouldn't be in, which were Monty's fault. Because Monty steals something he really shouldn't have stolen. Last but not least, I have Every Day by David Levithan. This book is about how there is this entity called A who possesses a new body every day. And that's just their life. They don't have a body of their own. They call themselves A, and that's about it. That's all they've got, because every day they wake up as a different person, and then they have to live out that day as that person as much as possible, as well as possible. I am fascinated in how A works. I am fascinated with this entire thing. I loved this book. It is so well written, and there's a sequel to it called Someday, which I haven't gotten to read yet, but I'm very excited to read it because I want to learn more about A and how they work and how they came to be. And in Someday, they're supposed to be where they meet more people like them, so I'm excited for that. If you see right here, it says soon to be a major motion picture. It did come out as a movie. I watched it. I don't remember the movie though. So those are all the books I had for you today. You should read them if you'd like. You don't have to, but if you need something to read, I recommend those. And you guys should recommend me books below because that'd be cool. I always need things to read. I am currently reading the novel of Dear Evan Hansen, which I am really enjoying. And I also get to see Dear Evan Hansen later this year in July because they're coming to my hometown area. So I get to see it, and I'm very excited. I bought my ticket. It was so expensive, but I'm very excited, and I'm really liking this book so far. I've read the script. I absolutely love the soundtrack, but the novel is really fun too, and I'm getting a lot out of the novel, so I recommend that so far. I love this a lot. Thank you for watching if you did. I hope you enjoyed these books, if you read them, or if you have read them. And yeah, I think that's all I have for you today. And this video is already long enough, so I'm gonna go ahead and end it. But thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful new year, and a good day, and a good week next week. Also, apparently I'm uploading on Saturdays pretty regularly, so I'm guessing our upload schedule is every Saturday. But yes, thank you for watching. If you did, I appreciate you, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. And I will see you guys next week in the next video. Okay, bye.